No, you don't. You look great. You always look great. It's that healthy vegan junk food diet that you're on.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Pete, and welcome to How I Hobby.
We're two pals and hobby obsessives with over 100 hobbies between us.
And we're always on the lookout for more.
Join us as we talk about all of our hobbies
And talk to people we know about their really cool hobbies. Welcome to How I Hobby. In today's episode, we've got a great interview with Kevin Leomo, who has a very speedy hobby. But first, Kayla, how do you hobby?
I do improv comedy.
Ah, well, you are Canadian. I believe it's part of the national curriculum.
It probably is.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Fantastic. So how did you get into that?
I'd always been quite active in theater in high school, and I produced my school's play, and I was really into it. And then I went off to university and did something completely different. So when I finished university, I moved back to Toronto, and I was working in a business environment, and I was really looking to exercise a different part of my brain.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, her boyfriend at the time, had said that he had just gotten into improv comedy. He worked in sales, and his company had paid for him to do this course at Second City in Toronto.
Oh.
And I thought, well, isn't this a great opportunity to do something fun and get someone else to pay for it? So I was able to use my learning and development budget at my first job for a whole year's worth of improv comedy courses because it was super fun, but also it was so good to help me think on my feet and think creatively and engage with other people and teamwork, etc. So I started in 2010, and I've been doing it ever since. I was on a house team. I was on a team at an improv theater here in London, and I've done different types of improv comedy. And it's been really super, super fun.
Fantastic stuff. So improv is improv, right?
Improv is sort of improv, Pete. There's actually two kinds of improv.
Tell us about the two kinds of improv.
So there's short form improv and then there's long form improv.
Okay.
So if you've seen shows like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes.
That's one type of short form improv. And that's very games based. And that's what my team was performing here in London. Versus long form is generally you'll have like a 20-minute set or maybe even a 40-minute set, and different scenes will interweave.
Cool.
So there's lots of really cool opportunity to initiate characters and bring them back and put them in different settings and fast forward to the future or go back in the past. But it's really interesting. The skill set required for short form versus long form can be very different.
That's fantastic. Must be good for the memory.
It definitely is good for the memory. It's definitely good for thinking on your feet. It's definitely good for like failing fast because it's going to be over very soon. So it doesn't matter if you fuck up or it doesn't matter if you look stupid. It's going to be over. No one's recording it. It's a one-time only kind of thing. And it's really fun to be silly and playful and bring out almost like childlike energy with a bunch of adults who sometimes you're strangers and it's something that really can bond you quite quickly.
That sounds fantastic. All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with us, Kayla.
No problem.
Wonderful stuff. Okay, we're going to get on with our fantastic interview.
Woohoo!
Okay, we're here today with Kevin Leomo. He is a Scottish-Filipino composer of experimental music. Based in Glasgow, he is in charge of community engagement management in the music department at the University of Glasgow. Very, very exciting. He is covered in tattoos. He has an awful lot of houseplants, but here he's talking about something very, very different. So, Kevin, how do you hobby?
So my hobby is running.
Cool. Tell us, what is running to you and how'd you get into it?
Yeah, I think running for me is just a way to get out of the office and just get out into fresh air and get the body moving. And I've been doing it properly since I would say like 2020.
Wow. And so what inspired you to start running in the first place?
I was getting a bit more into fitness at the time and I just kind of stumbled into it really. It's not something I planned or, really expected to get into. On the outside, it can appear quite boring or say, okay, I'm into running. But once you kind of get into it, I think it's a really nice thing to do.
Yeah.
How long are your runs generally? How often are you running? What's the duration of them?
I prefer kind of mid-distance runs. My favorite length is a half marathon. Last year I was kind of challenging myself to keep it going. So I was doing 1 half marathon a week.
Oh my God. Wow.
I love that this is mid-distance. My
Humble
favorite is a
brag.
mid-distance run, half marathon. I can't like run for the bus.
But that's a lot on your body to do every week.
Yeah, but I say that and it does seem a bit like, oh, I just do like half marathon a week. But I never thought I would be into that at all. Most people start running, a 5K is like a challenge. But one of the best things about running is you build up your kind of endurance, your kind of body's used to it. And slowly you kind of reframe different distances and you learn to enjoy it, or you can.
Yeah.
And it's quite easy just through kind of repetition and practice, I guess.
So it's partly a mental thing, I guess, as well. It's all in the mind and the body. So my wife runs, and she likes a 5K, and she's got up to a 10K before, and she's done it a few times and doesn't like it. She gets bored. Like halfway, right, so she's just like, no, 5Ks are fine for me. So it's interesting that. So when you say, I do a half marathon, it's not, as you say, it's not bragging or anything. It's just that's where your mind likes to be in that zone for that period of time. That just fits what you want.
I would say running is actually more of a mental thing. That is quite privileged to say that, but it's a great mental health aid. I think for me and for probably a lot of people out there.
Yeah. When you run these half marathons once a week, how long does it take you to run? Like, how long do you go out for?
It depends if I'm going for it or if I just kind of want to get it done. But in between like an hour and 45 to 2 hours, depending on where I'm at.
Wow.
Mentally and physically.
And so this is the thing. You said you've been doing this. You started in 2020. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
Like, you've gone from 0 to 60 in something like 3 years, and you're running half marathons once a week.
It's not that remarkable. I mean, a lot of people can do better. Kind of, it depends like how much you train, how much you want to get into it, what goals you set, what your kind of previous fitness is. But that's one of the beauty of running is no matter kind of what level you come in at or what your intention is, you can set these goals. Like you're saying, you can work towards, a 1K, a 5K, and whatever you kind of enjoy or brings you kind of comfort, you can kind of settle into that.
So were you sort of into fitness before and that kind of thing before you started running?
Not majorly. I've never been really a big kind of fitness person, but running was one thing that really did kind of spark interest for me.
What do you listen to when you run?
I have like one specific 10K playlist. So if I was maybe doing a race and I want to go quite quickly, they increase the tempo as they go on. So I have like a pop punk running playlist, and the first song on that is Blink-182, What's My Age Again.
That's awesome.
Go.
So some people start running as their own solo experience. Other people start running to join running groups, and it becomes quite a collaborative community social element. Which one is it for you?
For me, initially, it was definitely a solo endeavor. I never really joined a running club. And I had thought about it, but I never did. But I did have one of my close friends, Pooja, join me in running, especially during the lockdown. So the two of us would go out and run all the time. And we would, after every run, we would usually stop somewhere and get some sort of takeaway food or coffee. Doing races as well is a really kind of fun thing to do, just getting like a ton of people going out and just like running and having that energy and like, let's race.
So even though then maybe it's not like a group that you're a part of a club or anything like that, still being with other people all running together just has a particular vibe to it.
Back to the technicality of this. So you're running a half marathon a week. Walk us through the week. Like, is that the only run you do? Or is that the run you do on a Thursday and then 6 days of the week you do other durations?
Yeah, I'm not that fit. I don't have that much time, thanks. But when I was doing that, it was just once a week. That was it. So it wasn't too like taxing. When
you've finished a run, what is your preferred foods to refuel after you've finished a good long run?
Yeah, probably something unhealthy but vegan.
There you go, big that. Vegan kebab. Sounds good.
What's been the response of your family and friends? Like, how have they reacted to this new hobby?
At first, they were like, this is weird. But also, I think particularly as Pete can attest to, doing like a PhD or being a composer, it's definitely one of these things where if you're doing it, you get involved and you're doing it usually obsessively. So I think they just thought, okay, here's another thing that he's doing. But at least it's a healthy obsession.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah. What would you say is the best place to do this? If you could, I mean, because there's half marathons and marathons all over the world. Is there a particular one that you would like to do? Like, would you want to do like, you know, the Boston Marathon, or would you like to do like the Great North Run, which is half marathon and very, very hilly, all this? What would you want to do?
My goal was eventually to train up and do a proper marathon, like the London Marathon or something. I think that would be something to work towards, definitely. But preferably, I do prefer a flat race.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Cool.
Kevin, tell us, what has running, and I think we need to be more specific, what has running half marathons once per week taught you about yourself and life?
I think definitely the idea of like keeping going, no matter like how you're feeling or kind of what you're going through physically or mentally, you can always kind of power through it. It's the idea of having this like a regular practice, doing something, kind of holding yourself accountable if you don't do it, or if you don't feel like doing it, kind of picking yourself up and let's go out, let's go do it, even if you're going to have a bad time or it's going to be a struggle. But also the reward that you get when you finish kind of physically and mentally, you get that boost, that rush, like, okay, I did it. And running is great for that.
Excellent.
Cool.
So there's all sorts of people listening to this. Some people will run, some people don't. Some people, like me, absolutely loathe it and physical wrecks. But
You said loathe, right? Not
loathe.
love.
Loathe.
Okay. Wanted to make sure. Loathe.
Yeah. You have 30 seconds to pitch your hobby to me. How should I get into this?
Or why?
Why?
Pete, I think you should get into running because it's a great boost to your body physically and mentally. You can choose maybe what distance you enjoy doing. It's quite low pressure. Like if you're not enjoying it, take it slow, try different things, try a different route, try a flat route. It's a way to get in tune with your body, find out what works best for you. And I'm sure you can get to running and enjoy it.
Cool.
Fantastic stuff.
Pete's sold.
I might give it a go. A nice flat route by a river I live next to. Yeah, I might do that. Do that.
Let me just add also, if you do, or if I'm there, I'll take you out for a run. I do that actually a lot with other friends who maybe don't enjoy running or we're getting into it. Mm-hmm. And it's quite a nice way to take someone out and be like, okay, kind of walk them through, not walk them through, run them through it and, at their own pace. And it's quite a nice, actually getting back to that question of community, even like on a one-to-one, it's quite nice.
I love that. Kevin, that was amazing. Thank you so, so much for talking us through your hobby of running. One of the things that I've taken away from this conversation that I think is so cool is that you can start a new hobby at any time, and even like physically demanding hobbies you can start at any time. And however you define them in terms of duration, in terms of frequency, it doesn't really matter. But the ability for your mind to get you through physical let me record that again. Your mind can get you through anything. Any physical, crazy endeavor. Holy cow.
Mind over matter.
Mind over matter. That's been the biggest thing that I've taken away from this. This was amazing, Kevin. Thank you so, so, so much.
Fantastic. Kev, so as we said before, you are a very, very well-regarded, widely performed, well-respected, and very exciting young composer. Where can people find you and your work online?
You can find me on my website. So it's just my name, kevinleomo.com. And I'm on Twitter as Kevin_Leomo and Instagram as Kev Leomo.
That's the really informal one. That's the course. Just Kev.
I love that. Kev. Only for friends. Kevin, thank you so, so much. We really appreciate you coming on the podcast and sharing your very, very, very cool hobby with us.
Thanks so much for having me. And I look forward to listening and checking out some other episodes.
Amazing.
It's
Bye,
been a
Kevin.
pleasure. Thanks, Kev.
Toodles.
Okay, that was our interview with Kevin Leomo. We had a blast. We hope you did too.
But before we go, we want to share this week's celebrity hobby. Drum roll.
Did you know Nicole Kidman, skydiver?
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
The liability insurance alone.
I mean, adrenaline junkie, what can I say?
Wowza.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. And that's a wrap.
I've been Pete.
And I've been Kayla.
Rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts. It makes us much easier to find.
And follow us on Instagram at howihobby.
See you next time.
Toodles!
How I Hobby was written and produced by Kayla Lean and Pete Falconer, with music by Pete Falconer, artwork by Laura Walsh, and animation by Kayla Lean. If you'd like to be featured on the pod, find us on Instagram or email us at howihobby@gmail.com.